Zach Blackerby and Lindsay Crosby here with BravesToday.com. We're here in Nashville. Winter Meetings. We made the trek. There's a lot to follow this week, Lindsay, and we'll get kind of to the bottom of it starting Monday.
Yeah, we get manager availability starting on Monday. So Brian Snitker talks to the media on Tuesday. We're going to be here for that, obviously. But Monday, I want to talk to Ron Washington. It'll be the first time the media has gotten to see him since he announced he was leaving Atlanta to go to Los Angeles as the new manager of the Angels. So we'll get him on Monday. We'll get Brian Snitker on Tuesday. And then you've got a couple procedural things to get done. The draft lottery is on Tuesday night. Atlanta finished in the postseason and won't be part of the lottery.
Right.
But you could still see some teams getting pushed back their spots because of penalties and how that might move Atlanta up a spot or two. And then the Rule 5 draft on Wednesday night. Atlanta's never been in the position to grab a guy before because they've never had open 40-man roster spots, but they do now. So does Atlanta try to find a backup utility guy or an outfield option in the Rule 5 draft versus free agency? We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's the biggest story league-wide up here at Winter Meetings. We've only been here a few hours, and everybody we talk to is like, Shohei Ohtani? Your thoughts on Shohei Ohtani? I mean, if that were to happen while we were up here, I mean, it's going to be a huge story.
It would be nuts. And we heard some reporting from some different MLB insiders that they thought Shohei would sign here while during the Winter Meetings. We have seen quite the contingent of Japanese media in attendance. We don't know if that's just because they're hoping that he's here or they're hoping that the signing happens, or if it's just because they're following everything MLB does until that happens. But either way, I'd love to see a Shohei Ohtani signing, if nothing else, to help set the market for everybody else so they can get on with their free agency.
Lindsay, as we've been networking and people ask what we do and which team we cover, and we talk about the Atlanta Braves, it's interesting. Some folks think, okay, it's early. Atlanta can still put plenty of chips on the table and sign some guys in free agency. And there's others that say, why would you do anything? It's kind of interesting to see the balance here.
Yeah, and it really kind of comes back to what time frame are you looking in? The teams and the people that want Atlanta to be aggressive in free agency are looking back at a 2-year window, and they're looking at Atlanta losing in the first round 2 straight years, and they're saying you need to push all the chips in and go all in right now. And everybody else is looking at a longer time frame. 2021, you barely made the postseason, you won the whole thing. Kind of like how Arizona this year, last team in, made the World Series and made a run all the way through to the very end. And so it's very much if you're a long-term kind of looker, you're thinking stand pat, you'll be in the postseason, you'll have a chance. If you're a team that's not used to a lot of success, or a team that's with a shorter time frame, everybody says go all in, secure a World Series now.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest questions to Snit are going to be on Tuesday?
For me, it's probably going to be one, Vaughn Grissom in left field. That was something we heard Alex Anthopoulos float just the other day, just today. Floated about Vaughn Grissom being the starting left fielder if the season were to start. And then this is the first time in Brian Snitker's tenure that we've seen significant turnover in the coaching staff.
Sure.
You have to replace a third base coach in Ron Washington, as well as a first base coach in Eric Young Sr. And so I'm sure Snit's going to be asked what his plan is for that, who he's identified, and when we can expect those hires to be made.
Yeah, we'll have all of it available for you for free at BravesToday.com. For Lindsay Crosby, I'm Zach Blackerby.
I'm Lindsay Crosby, managing editor of BravesToday.com, here with national baseball writer Jack Vita of the Jack Vita Show. And Jack, a lot of Atlanta fans feel like the offseason's been pretty slow so far as the Atlanta Braves are concerned. They've brought back some of their own guys, haven't really been that active in free agency. What is the outside perspective of what Atlanta's done so far?
Well, I think in general, the offseason is slow. Baseball's slow. It's a slower sport. That's the reason why we put that pitch clock in there to try to speed things up. Typically, we don't get a whole lot of action up to this point, but the winter meetings, this is where a lot of the agents are going to meet with the teams for the first time, discussing some of these players. Some of these players are going to be here, and this is a good chance to kind of break the ice. So I think things will speed up a little bit now that we're here at the winter meetings. As for the Braves, I'm personally not surprised by what they've done, but I do think that they should certainly be in the starting pitching market, and I would go after Jordan Montgomery if I was working in the Braves front office.
Yeah, it's something where they outbid the Phillies but didn't land Aaron Nola. They were reportedly in on Sonny Gray before he went to the Cardinals. But there's been conversation about Blake Snell and having a qualifying offer. If the qualifying offer wasn't an issue, would you still think Jordan Montgomery should be the pick over a Blake Snell, or does that qualifying offer change the calculus for the Braves?
I think regardless of the qualifying offer, I think Blake Snell's going to command more money. He's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. quite frankly, as much as I love Blake Snell, he only pitched in the 6th inning about 2 or 3 times last year. So Montgomery is going to go deeper into games. And I really think Montgomery turned a corner over the past year and a half going over to St. Louis. You mentioned Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray just feels like a Brave, doesn't he? It sounds like the name of a Brave.
He's from the South?
Yes. Yeah. He was a Nashville kid, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was a little surprised that Sonny Gray actually wasn't the guy. And that I'm actually surprised Sonny Gray's off the board already.
Yeah. And whenever a guy signs that early, you have to assume that they had some desire to go there themselves rather than waiting for the market to set. So I think Sonny Gray wanted to be in St. Louis, and that makes sense. But either way, we'll see what Atlanta does. A couple more days of the winter meetings coming. We'll have all your coverage here on BravesToday.com.